10 laps is the restarted race distance then. After lap 6, they were Haslam, Ramsey, Barton and Jackson. They will be the front row now, a new front row. Jennings, Davies, Bishop and Tunstall. That's if he's out there, of course. He may not have been able to restart this race, so it might be Ian Bennett that's out there. They are under starters' orders again for the second time today, the 250s. Blast down to Old Hall Corner first, and for the second time today, it is Callum Ramsey that leads. This time, though, for Jason Davies, who drops in with him. Jason Davies then effectively coming up the second row. They're going to get nerfed out the way there by Lee Jackson, who has taken over second place straight away. Jackson was in fourth place, 0.7 seconds behind Gary Haslam at the end of lap 6 when the stoppage was declared from, and that will mean that we have an aggregate race here at the moment. It's a two-part race. We must add up the aggregates, and really the man that has most to do is Lee Jackson chasing Gary Haslam. Haslam's out there as well. Watch out for Haslam. Haslam was leading the race, the first part of it, and he had a 1/10 of a second lead over Callum Ramsey. I'll try and work it out as we go on, but our monitors will keep us informed here. It is at the moment on the road. Lee Jackson the lead from Callum Ramsey from, yes, that looks like Pete Jennings is there from Jason Davies. That's your top four at this moment in time on the road, but that will be considerably different when we get to the line and can work out the aggregate of the two races. 7, Gary Haslam, he was the race leader at the stoppage, and he is back in 5th place at the moment, so doesn't equate too well for him at this moment in time. Over Clay Hill for the first lap of our 10-lap restart. Ramsey leads on the road from Lee Jackson from Pete Jennings. No doubt about the leader by 0.6 of a second on corrected time. Callum Ramsey has a 0.6 of a second lead over the rest of them, despite the fact they're breathing down his neck actually on your screen. Who hates aggregate races? Hold your hands up, please. Ramsey leads on the road and on corrected time, but Gary Haslam now up into 4th place, was only 0.2 of a second behind Ramsey on corrected time. So he is in 2nd place despite being in 4th on the road. That's number 7, Gary Haslam. Number 1, Paul Jones, riding on the injured John McGuinness's Demon Vimto Honda. McGuinness is in hospital, having his hip ball stitched back on to the top of his femur bone. It sounds painful, and it is, and Jones goes through again, but Jones is so far down the order. Having a look all the way down this list, Jones is in 11th place on corrected time. That was because he collected a 10-second penalty for a jump start in the start of the first part of this race. There are your corrected time and aggregate places at the bottom of the screen, even though they don't tally with what's happening on the race. And Jonesy goes through. Paul Jones taking a one-off ride on Paul Bird's TSR Honda. Is absolutely riding the socks off. He's got nothing to lose at all. He's not going to win this race. He knows that because of the penalty. Oh, Gary Haslam gets a nerf from Darren Barton. 3 nerf 7. And Gary Haslam, who was looking like a race winner today until the stoppage, is right down the order on the restarted aggregate time. So Gary Haslam can't do anything about this. There he is, number 7 with the yellow helmet on. Well, he's in 3rd place on corrected time. Nearly 0.9 of a second behind Ramsey on corrected time, but look how many places he's got to make up to catch Ramsey on the road. Callum Ramsey looks to the inside line of Paul Jones and grabs the lead on the racetrack. Callum Ramsey, I can tell you, as they cross the line, oh dear me, and coming through is Darren Barton. Darren Barton, we'll call him Barger Barton. I reckon he's bashing into everybody out there. That is the corrected time aggregate placings of the top 6. Ramsey, Barton, Haslam, Jackson, Jennings, Bishop. So Callum Ramsey still leads this race by just 1/10 of a second for Barton as they cross the line. Druids corner, the double right-hander, and Callum Ramsey under pressure, always up now from Darren Barton. Barton has got the bit between his teeth. We've seen him barging his way through, and he is prepared to do it. Jones on the brakes, get up the inside of Barton. Barton, no, toughs it out. He says, OK, I'm not going to let Jonesy by. I'll just pass the bloke in front. And Callum Ramsey goes back to 2nd place. That will mean as we get to the line, I know now on the corrected 2-part time, yes, Barton hits the front by 0.04 of a second. Barton leads on the road. No, he doesn't. Barton leads on the road again, so I could have just left that comment and it would have synced up eventually. Darren Barton leads on bike 3 from Callum Ramsey. There are the top 6 on corrected times. Down from Hilltop into Knickerbrook. Barton is going to take 25 points today. Darren Barton looking so good. He hasn't scored another point since winning at Brands Hatch in the opening round. So in the last 5 rounds, Darren Barton has scored no points. He won the first round, he's going to win this round 7. Oh, barring any kind of mistake. Ramsey knows what he's got to do. He's got to finish right behind Darren Barton. But he's got to be, when I say right behind, I mean so close, there's not going to be anything like a cigarette paker between them. Callum Ramsey's pushing it, but Barton's going to take it at the line, I'm sure. Darren Barton has done it all perfectly well. He wins on the road, and on corrected time, I wait for the monitor to click up. Darren Barton is the winner from Callum Ramsey in second place. Gary Haslam has come through to take a fine third place, despite finishing further back than that on the racetrack. Barton, Ramsey, Haslam, Pete Jennings from Dewsbury, a great ride for him on bike 36. He finishes in 4th place. Lee Jackson on bike 9 is 5th. Jason Davis is 6th. So after a 2-part 250 race, the computer does its stuff and finds Darren Barton not only the race winner on the road, but also after aggregate times are taken into account. Callum Ramsey second then, Gary Haslam a fine third considering he didn't get on so well in the second part. Pete Jennings, a good fall for him. Lee Jackson 5th, Jason Davis 6th, Chris Bishop 7th and Steve Salford 8th.
Well done, Callum. We were watching Mackenzie watching you in the back there when he said, I can't look.
Yeah, it was a frantic race because it was a 2-part race, obviously, and I just knew it was really hard between me and Darren. There was only like 10 splitting us, and I didn't want to do nothing stupid in the last lap. Just be as close to him as I can. Thought I might have got first, but happy with second.
Darren, it is brilliant to see you smiling. You have consistently qualified brilliantly all season, but you've had some incredible bad luck. This has been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I won at Brands Hatch and we've had a lot of DNFs and I crashed at Donington, so I'm just glad to get Team Alpire and Honda and Colin Appleyard and Robin a result this weekend, and myself. You know, it's been a long time since I've won a race, and it feels good to be back on the podium again. So I'm just looking forward to the next one, really.
Darren Barton's back. It's been a long wait to celebrate like this. Maybe that's why he forgot just how many bubbles there are in champagne.